good morning, and welcome to this special Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me is Dr. Freddie Evans. Dr. Evans is running unopposed in tonight's Bermuda National Athletic Association's president of BID. Dr. Evans, first of all, we want to talk about how things are shaping up. And obviously, with the pandemic, one of your first major tasks as the president, along with your team, would be to try to put together a plan for the 2021-2022 road race and track season. How, in early thoughts, what's the plans going forward?
Well, first of all, Earl, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm grateful to be able to talk to you and talk to Bermuda about what we hope to achieve. The first thing we're going to do early next week is have a coaches meeting and bring all our coaches together to discuss what our possibilities are and how we can piece together competition for our athletes. Our schedule is full. Our road race schedule is full. Our local cross country is full, but we have inhibitors, if you will, that we have to get around. And so we want to, get our cross country started by October 9th. That race is at Fort Schouwer. I have some ideas, and I don't mind, discussing them in general. We can't do a regular cross country meet. That doesn't fit within the COVID guidelines. But I think it's possible to do something like a time trial, which is similar to what cyclists do, sending out 3 athletes at a time, get their times, and then the next wave of athletes would be 3 or 5. Whatever the number is that fits within the guidelines for competition with under COVID guidelines, and see if we can get that ball rolling. It's a little bit more difficult with road racing, but we want to have a committee, and I've been talking to people like Mark Harris and Marty Merritt about heading that committee and hopefully get some ideas from the road race community on how we can do this. It's ironic. This is one of the best of times in the midst of the worst of times. We have a number of athletes who are capable and ready, who could probably wear Bermuda on their chest and represent us so well, but they need the opportunities. They got to be able to compete. But by the same token, the road race community was ready for Bermuda Triangle. We 2 years ago, it was a stellar event. I don't know if we're going to be able to make that happen again. I'm sorry, excuse me, let me turn that off.
No problem.
There we go. And in the midst of all of this, it's now in question. So, we're going to have to take it slow, but at the same token, we really want to gear up and make the best showing possible for the athletes to be able to demonstrate their growth and potential and represent Bermuda well.
It's funny. I was talking with Donna Reyna, the president, the current president of the Bermuda National Athletic Association. We were talking about the fact that we haven't had any competition for quite some time, and the possibility of losing athletes throughout this period. What will be one of your major concerns, or your committee's major concerns, through this battle?
So, since you brought up Donna, let me start by saying how appreciative I am of Donna's vision, leadership, support. Donna has served the athletic community as well as the community at large in a stellar fashion, and so we're working on top of her shoulders. Now, I spent 10 years being part of her team, and 10 in the role of general secretary, but it takes someone to have a vision and tenacity to make things happen, and that was Donna. And she's earned the opportunity to take a break, but her absence will be felt. When it goes back to attracting athletes, that's part of it right now. And I don't want to beat that analogy too bad, but it is the best of times. We have a number of athletes who are overseas in college competing. Probably the largest group we've had since back in the day with my wife Gina and Donna and Mike Watson and Dennis Trott, we're competing, and Debbie. That
Mhm.
group, I mean, we got about 17 in school, and then we have local high school athletes who are ready to do something spectacular. So, and for the first time in a long time, we have a crew of veteran athletes who are elite athletes who could emerge on the Commonwealth and Pan Am stage that we're excited about. So, there's a lot of things that help to pull athletes along, and if we can get back to competitions and younger athletes see their success, that's the kind of sustainability that makes them want to compete. You see yourself in their success, and then you go try to do that too.
Mm. Well, not far down the road is we come back around full circle to the Carifta Games. We're only 6 months away from that event. Unfortunately, we weren't able to host it over a 2 year period. But looking at NACAC, and they're moving forward with plans for the 2022 event. How quickly do we need to get our young people revved up and inspired to want to represent Bermuda at the Carifta Games?
Locally, we need to start right away and do whatever we can. Um, as you say, currently it's scheduled for Easter. I'm on the NACAC competition committee. I do know that they're looking at a possible change of date, and they're wrestling back and forth. Historically, Carifta has always been Easter, and um, that's just been part of the tradition. But as you have traveled through to Carifta Games, you know that not only the reverence that our brothers and sisters to the south have.
We're going to wait until he logs back on. Here he comes. You're back.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
We were speaking about Carifta and the reverence that they have for that holiday. Also, it's a time in the South where all of the transit is just booked. Everybody's going on holiday. So they have their European visitors going for that last spring break, if you will, and it's just hard to get to. And they're considering moving the date till after school ends. So we may see a Carifta Games in June in 2022, if not 2022, 2023. But all of that is in plenary talks right now. But
Right.
the basis of your question, to be ready for anything, to be ready for the whole 22 schedule, we got to get kids going. We got to get our athletes going. And so, next week we plan to have this coaches meeting, look at the schedule. In fact, if you go to the NACAC schedule, we have November 21st NACAC half marathon. I
Right.
hope somebody like D'Amico Watson will participate, Sean Trott. There's also NACAC cross country. Now we have Ryan Autobridge in university. We have John Dale Cumbermatch in university, both running cross country seasons. We have Dage Miners, who's preparing for his pro season in 2022, who I would believe would be interested in being part of that kind of event. D'Amico possibility, Sean possibility. There's some old heads around here too that we might be able to tap into for a leadership standpoint. But what I just described to you is a team that would go and be very, very competitive in the region. And that's just something we haven't had. And so, that lends itself to us having a really good presence within NACAC. That's a statement. You go down there and you can have people on the podium and have a team that's in that top 10. That's great.
Right. One of the things, and it's not just athletics, but it's a lot of sports in Bermuda, is keeping young females in sport. We've seen a wave come and a wave go, another wave come in and another wave go. How do you with your team hope or plan to attack just that in trying to sustain these young ladies in the sport?
Well, let me start from the other end. I do believe we have a deficit in female coaches. And I think that lays the foundation. So one of the things I hope to work on with the team is the development of female coaches. Once we have that leadership in place, then hopefully we'll see more sustainability of young ladies because they have role models who have worked through track and field. Additionally, and as you know, I've done a lot of work in supporting athletes acquiring athletic scholarships. There's more female scholarships than male scholarships in track and field. So I always tell parents that early, so that's an incentive to support your daughter and try to see if we can turn this activity into a passion and passion into a scholarship.
Now, you talked a bit about working with the road racing committee to see what can be done, but what about the committee within the BNAA? Obviously, it's going to take some work, take some building on what Donna and her team has been able to get us to this point. But obviously, we want to build on those things and go even further. So, how do you plan to work alongside the committee to help improve on what's already been built?
Well, I appreciate the question. That gives me a chance to talk about what I believe will be the committee. It wasn't just myself being unopposed. All the directors were unopposed too. So we have a idea, although it hasn't been finalized, and it will be tonight in tonight's meeting, have an idea who the team is. So we'll start with someone like Mia Black, who has served as vice president, and she's returning. And we've talked, and Mia's is going to fulfill the role of general secretary, which I used to hold. She just brings a wealth of administrative experience and a passion for track and field and a desire to help children, and that helps us to move forward. We also have Jarita Vickers. Jarita was a former athlete. She was a Carifta athlete. She was a scholarship recipient. Jarita is going to be our treasurer, and Jarita just brings a total professional acumen to the level. Someone who helps to keep us fiscally responsible and accountable while understanding that our role is to promote athletes. And so, it is a benefit to have people of their nature staying on the team. I was excited that Terry Painter's coming back. Terry, athlete, coach, passionate about athletes, and helps, sometimes, and it happens everywhere, sometimes in track and field, we forget about the field athletes. We pay more attention to the track and not developing those athletes. And one thing about Terry, she'll never let you forget it. You were there represented, okay? So we appreciate that passion and desire, and so that's great for us. We expect 2 new faces on the board, and that's going to help us tremendously. First is Allison Autobridge. Allison, another Carifta medalist in her day, a graduate of the University of Tennessee, track and field star there. Now a working professional at the hospital, a dietitian. Allison brings not only the passion and experience, but the youth that helps to communicate with our elite athletes, because she was there and she knows what they're going through, and a belief that you can lead young people to set goals and achieve those goals too. And finally, Vanessa Turner, who is a parent of a young athlete, who is a professional, who her family has passion for track and field. They're always there. She's able to communicate with everyone and to add to the team, ensuring that everybody has the opportunity to talk to each other, knowing what parents need, knowing what young athletes need, and then helping to promote what we're trying to do. So, I have a great feeling about the team. I think together we're going to be able to ensure that we can create athletic excellence. And although that was a Freudian slip when I said academics is a big part of it. And so that parental push with Vanessa is really going to help. So I'm really excited about the team and proud to be associated with all of them.
Mm. Obviously, a big task at hand because we have to navigate through COVID. But being creative is one of the things that we often talk about now with sports, and it's just another stepping stone for you guys to get the 2021-2022 season up and running, both on the track and on the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to go back and, you know, I think part of the thing I really want to do is let me step back and say it this way. Despite COVID, we've learned some things. Just like I'm talking to you now, and we're not in the same room, but I had the opportunity to interview. We had the opportunity to talk to our coaches, our parents, our athletes, even though we can't be together, and we can start to spread that vision and start to share the vision and get some feedback and then buy in, and they can all contribute. Like I'm so excited about the coaches meeting. I'm not, which should not be my style. Even when I was a middle school principal, I borrowed the term "team together, everyone achieves more," and that was all over my building. And that was the motto I pushed all the time. I really believe that, and it applies to sports. So when I get a chance to talk to the coaches, here's the schedule. How can we achieve this? We didn't mention that the NACAC age group is in December. Age group is the multi-event competition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a different stretch, but it's a stretch or a lift that I hope we try to achieve. And so I'm looking for coaches to tell me how they think we can do it, how we want to try to attack this, how we're going to attract athletes for that, and how we're going to go down there and make a statement. And I tell you one thing about age group that I want to ensure that we participate. Every time we've sent athletes to the age group, those athletes end up at the top end of our sport, acquiring scholarships and going on to school. They hang in there. It's like the eye opener for them, and so we want to take advantage of that.
Well, I want to wish you all the best, you and your team, as you embark on this journey of taking the Bermuda National Athletic Association steps further. And again, I heard you thank Donna, and I want to personally thank Donna as well for being that light and that guidance that navigated some rough times and the early part of COVID and the challenges of trying to put on the Carifta Games and being there throughout the turmoil of not being able to compete, not being able to train, and now it's your turn to take the baton along with your team and carry on that charge. So again, congratulations. We look forward to working with you throughout this tender, and hopefully bigger and better things can be achieved.
Well, I appreciate it, sir. Like I said, we have a full cabinet of young athletes. Excited to work with that cadre. We got a stock of elite athletes who are ready to compete. And I mean, I know, but for the benefit of Bermuda public, if you got time, I'd just like to drop some names on you so we kind of get an idea of what we can work with. So in our veteran athletes, we got Dage Miners, Tahara Butterfield, who just acquired her master's degree, and she's a working professional, but she's going to keep competing. She's a sprinter in the 1 and 2. Grant Rivers is in Bermuda going to train and we try to be ready for Commonwealth and Pan Am in the javelin. Terry DeRosa just graduated from college. She was hoping to go to Georgia Tech. Something fell through with Georgia Tech's admission process, which we're going to benefit from because she's home and she'll be training and she'll be competing. We've got D'Amico Watson and Sean Trott. In college right now, we got Sakari Famous, Ryan Autobridge, Caitlin Bobb, Zacasia Parsons, John Dale Cumberbatch, Taylor Hines, Katura Bulford Trott, Nathan Armstrong, Sadiq Nurse, Suresh Black, Nairobi Smith Mills, Malik Deal, Stephen Deal, Zakiah Lewis, and Kazai Emery. That's an under 23 squad right there who will be competing. So we're really excited about that. In high school overseas, we got Sana Ray Morris, Kazai Seeley, Simon Hayward, Madison Bob, Zenji Washington, and Chase Tanner. That's the basis of our under 20 Carifta squad. And then locally, got these guys getting ready to work, and we're really excited about the things that they're going to bring. Sancho Smith, I call him the captain. Jazad James, the kid who can do everything. Hopefully, we'll grow him into a decathlete.
Right.
We got Grant here to teach him pole vaulting, so
Yeah.
we got potential here.
Yes.
Amelia Orthman, Razai Garland. Razai is an excellent thrower and an athlete I love to watch compete because you can ask him to do anything. I had him down in Bahamas, and Razai had never run a 400, and I said, "Let's try." He said, "I don't have spikes. I got basketball shoes." So we'll go out there and run the 400, and he did. He competed hard in basketball shoes because that's the kind of kid he is. Ellie Richmond, Tommy Marshall, Kasey and Kasai, the twins, Bells, they're discus throwers. Daria Desmond, Adrian Argent, Denver Tucker, Dominique Brown, Shayla Can, Jason Simons, Javis Sutton, Masasi Maxwell Smith, Jazari Talbot. Those are the core that can make up our career squad. We got some young people who are just under 12. Dalen Scott, Miles Autobridge, Jada Grant, Arima Turner, Iora Golden. So I said all of that to say, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. We have a benefit of riches. We just have to have the opportunity, give them the opportunity to show their talent. And it's going to be good for Bermuda, and it'll be great for athletes.
Yes, indeed. Well, again, we look forward to working with you and making sure that these athletes get their deserved due of being covered and Bermuda know what their accomplishments are, whether it be in prep, primary, middle, high, university, college, or pro. We're here to work with you and ensure that our athletes get their just due.
So, my brother, I know my time's up, and I've said this publicly before, but I'm going to take this opportunity to say it again. I thank you for what you do. I thank you for reaching out and ensuring that every sport, every athlete in Bermuda has the opportunity to be covered and celebrated and recognized for what they do. It's a lot of that came from your vision, and we just appreciate the work that you do too. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck tonight in the at the AGM.
Thanks, sir.